How do you find the best deals on Rightmove and Zoopla? Today I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks of finding the best property deals. Welcome to Property Investing with Abby, that's me. And over the next 12 weeks, I'm going to be showing you property investing in just normal houses. So hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. So the first thing, when I'm property investing and when I'm looking for deals, I like to get deals off market. But if there's no deals off market or if I'm struggling, I go to good old Rightmove and Zoopla. So Rightmove and Zoopla are what all estate agents use to advertise properties on. But this means the estate agent's been to the property, valued it, and usually it's on with an estate agent, which can sometimes cause a few little issues when you're investing. Nothing you can't get past, but you just need to know that. So I want to show you today how to use Rightmove and Zoopla and which are the best bits, because you don't need to know how to use all of Rightmove, all of Zoopla. You just need to know what's the fastest, quickest, easiest bits for you to use. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with Zoopla. Now the reason I start off with Zoopla is because Zoopla's got a feature on it where you can find the most reduced properties. Now the aim of the game of finding deals is we want to find properties below market value. So that's below the current market value, the street value. We want to buy properties under that because what we want to do is we want to do something called buy, refurb and refinance. We want to pull all our money out of the deal. But to do that, we need to buy it below market value. Now the quickest way to find that is houses that are being reduced. Because when you've got a seller reducing their house, they're a motivated seller. They want to move fast. They want to sell quickly. So Rightmove doesn't have this feature, but Zoopla does. So all I'm going to do is, if I can spell it right, is go to zoopla.co.uk. You're going to be looking at for sale properties. So I'm going to stick with the area that I know, because for finding good deals, you really need to have a little bit of knowledge about the area, or you need to have someone you can ring that knows about the area. But I live in Doncaster, I know about Doncaster, so that's where I'm going to start off with. So all I do is in sale, I put Doncaster. Now, in the advanced search options, and I want to sort by most reduced, I want to pull up the houses that are being reduced because this is the best way I'm going to find the deal. So if I just click, so all I've done is Doncaster, I've got no other parameters and most reduced, and I'm going to pull it up. Now we're going to pull big houses and small houses. So it depends what your budget is on how much you want to pay for the property. I'll buy 50, 60, 70 grand houses because that's an easier lump of money to use. Sometimes I'll do more expensive, so it just depends what I'm looking for. We've now got a percentage on Zoopla saying down by 42.9% reduced. So we can see what's being reduced in the area. So let's find one that's not an online auction. Here we go. We've got one in Doncaster Town Moor. It's been reduced by 25% and it's down at 120. So let's just click into this. Now what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the pictures. So I'm looking at what work it needs doing. So the garden's been left to grow and it's empty. So empty is a good sign. So when houses are empty, typically the seller isn't getting any money for them or any use out of them. They're not living there and they're not getting any rent for the property. So empty houses are quite a good one to do. You can negotiate because at the minute the seller's in pain. Nothing's happening with that house. They're not having to get it, yet they're still having to pay potentially mortgage and council tax. So that looks like a good solid house. First look at EPC grade E. So what does that tell us? That some improvements might need to be made. And currently they're okay renting it out on an EPC grade of E, but when legislation moves next year, they won't be able to rent it out. So it's going to need improving. So we know that. So if I go down and I can see the history of it. So it was first put on. So the 27th of September it was put on for, so wow. This was first listed in 2019 for 160,000 in July. Then in August it was reduced to 150. September it's been reduced by 140. October it's been reduced to 135, and now the 5th of November it's been reduced again back to 120,000. Now it also tells us this was last sold on the 31st of May 2000 for 53,000. Look at that increase in price. So unless the vendor's remortgaged, we've got some time. He's got money in there, and that means we can negotiate with him. So if I just go up to the top, what we want is I want the postcode of this property, because what I'm going to do now is I want to head over to Rightmove and have a really good look about what's happening. And I prefer Rightmove to do it because you can get market stats on Zoopla and you get properties sold nearby, but I just like it easier on Rightmove, and I like to see what information's on Rightmove. View EPC. Sometimes the EPC has a postcode, but this one doesn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Google the postcode for Goldsborough Road, Town Mall. Put Doncaster in, just to make sure. There we go, DN26DG. So I can go on Rightmove and I can pull the property up much faster than if I was just searching. Let's have a look. Here it is. So we can see it on Rightmove now. So I'm just checking if there's any other information that wasn't on Zoopla, because estate agents have systems, what they advertise. So they have a system that runs their estate agency and that pushes the information to Rightmove and Zoopla. But sometimes that system doesn't push the exact same information to Rightmove and Zoopla. I don't know why. I think it might be the connections to do with that. So sometimes you might get slight different information. So what I'm going to go on here now is properties sold nearby. I'm going to view more. Now this is what I like about Rightmove, because you can see the properties that have been sold and you can see the pictures. So it's more clearer than when you're using Zoopla market stats, because Zoopla market stats will give you a list, but you can't see pictures and you can't get a full feel of what's going on. Okay. Sometimes from that, so now I know it's number 21 Goldsborough Road. So I'm going to write that down, 21. Goldsborough Road, and it's important that you know the full address, so that's one of the ways to do it. Now they are wanting 120,000 for it, so to know if it's a good deal I need to see what's been sold in the area, because when you're doing below market value properties you need to be sure that you're going to get the end valuation. So when I buy a property and refurb it, I need to be sure that the value is going to come out and give me the value I want when I've got it up to market value. So that's how you make your money in below market value deals. So I'm having a look on here. Now our property is a 3-bed semi-detached house. So I'm only looking at 3-bed semi-detached houses. So I've got a 4-bed here that was sold last June for 177,500. Wow, 4-bed. I've got a 3-bed that was sold on the 1st of December and that was sold for 128,000. So that's our nearest comparable. It's most recent, 2017. So it is like nearly 2 years old. So let's just have a look at the pictures of here. What condition was this sold in? So this was sold empty, pretty nice. It looks like it's had a bit of a refurb and a bit of an uplift. We can see there, lovely. So pretty much, ours needs more work, but pretty much so. 2 years ago, one sold on the street for 128,000. They want 120,000 for ours and they're reducing it. But we have had a 4-bed sold, so I'm just going to have a quick look at the 4-bed. So it looks like it's a nice corner plot. Oh, lovely. I'm not that keen on the decoration, but there you go. And we know, so that sold for 177,500. So I kind of think in a done-up way, mine will probably sell maybe 135, 145, and that's what I typically be aiming to get the valuer to give me, 135, 145. So I'll put that 135 to 145. And they have tried selling it. Now you can see on Rightmove the road here. So sometimes I like to have a look in the other roads and see. So what I would normally do is see what's sold on the street and how much it was sold for and try and get an estimate of what I think mine might be valued at in a done up condition. And then I like to have a look around the streets as well. So we haven't got that much time in this episode, but if you're doing this, I would have a look around the streets, around the areas and just get a really good feel for what properties are selling at. Pay attention to condition. Make sure you're comparing apples to apples. So I couldn't compare the fact that a 4-bed to a 3-bed because it's not the same, and a corner plot to just a semi-detached, normal situated house. So just compare apples to apples, look at the dates, and then valuations is a bit, there's no right or wrong with it. You just have to go with what you really feel. Now, I've been an estate agent for quite a long time, so I kind of get the hang of valuations, but that will come in time when you're looking at it. So we've got this property and we know what we think it's going to sell for. Now, if I go back to the property listing, it's got a conservatory. It's saying it's got 2 reception rooms. It's got an attic room. We know it's going to need work with the EPC. So the other thing that you probably want to look at on Rightmove is you want to pull the full brochure, because again, there might be more details in the full brochure that you don't know. And sometimes what I do is when I go to the viewing, I print the brochure out and then I've got my calculations, then I'm all ready to go. So looking at the pictures, this is going to need some work, and it's definitely going to need some work to its heating system. So that's what we would challenge at the viewing. So that's how I typically find deals. I go on Zoopla, I look at most reduced, and then I find the property on Rightmove and I try and get what the market value will be. And then I have a look in my head and think, what am I going to buy that property for? Will it make financial sense as a below market value property for me? So the other really useful tip that I use Rightmove for is I draw a search area. So I think, actually, I quite like this area. I like the house, but is there any other houses I might be able to buy in this area? And this is particularly good for those investors that like to keep their investments together. I sort of spread my investments because I like to spread the risk. But if you've already bought on a street and you've got a good valuation from that street, you know that other houses on that street are good, so you can draw a search area. Not only can you draw a search area, you can set up Rightmove to give you alerts when anything in that search area comes up. For example, I recently bought a property in Rotherham. I know I get the valuation for it because I've bought the property, done it up, got it valued, got the money out of it, so I know it's a good place to buy and the valuers will value high. So I've drawn a search area and I get alerted any time that this comes in. So I'm just going to go on, define my area. So I'm going to say I want to be told of any houses in this area that might be coming up. There we go. So I can view properties or I can save my area. So what you would normally do is you would save the area because you want alerts to come, but I'm just going to view the properties. Now you can see there's Goldsborough Road and there's a property we've been looking at. You can see there's a house over here for sale. So if I click on it, it'll come up. So look at this, 3-bedroom semi-detached, 150,000 for the same 3-bed that's going on our Goldsborough Street here. It's a 3-bed semi-detached. This is fully refurb look, so this is what they're trying to get 150,000 for it. So that's good, not only in looking at our property, but thinking if I just wanted not to do any refurb, I wanted a hands-free, quick, nice, tidy house, that's it. I've also got some stuff here in Glemis Road. So I've got a property that needs doing up look, 109,950. So that might be one I want to go and pursue. Let's have a click over here. And I've got a 3-bed terraced house in Strathmore. So I'm starting to get to know the area. Now I'm from Doncaster, so I know this area. But if you don't know your area, you really need to make sure you do, because Goldsborough Road might be a certain type of street, but down the road and round the corner, it might be lots of houses for sale because, you know, it's a bit of a rough street. Not many people want to buy there. And that's fine if you're doing the rent to buy strategy, but not if you're doing a normal tenanted investment. But that's the best way to find below market value deals using Rightmove and Zoopla. Next week, we're going to be looking at how you phone an agent. So you've found the deal on Rightmove and Zoopla. How do you now go about talking to the agent and booking the viewing? And I want to take you through a few tricks of the trade of how to do that. Don't forget to subscribe if you've not, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.